Game 1 is on Site Delta. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the German VODs player representing Berlin International Gaming. Team Big, it is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Polish VODs player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ArT. And already, things are popping up. Now, something that I did take note of here in the new map pool is that very few maps actually have ramps leading into the natural. Very few. But this is one of them, Site Delta. And when it comes to PvP specifically, with a ramp coming into the natural, it is safe to go for a gate expand, to go for a more economic opener here in this matchup. As a result, ShoWTimE throws down his pylon here on the low ground and his natural for a more economic opener. Now, despite the features of this map, despite us loading into Site Delta, ArT goes for a 2-gate opener instead. Very interesting. As a result, ArT could lead into a 1-base all-in to try to punish the more economic opener of ShoWTimE, or ArT could slowly make his way towards a natural instead, which will be a bit of a later natural as a result. So basically, the ball is in ArT's court. What does ArT go for? Does he go for an all-in, or does he expand? As he does have a probe out on the map. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE, no fear, gate expand, expansion before the Cyber Core as well. Very greedy opener here out of ShoWTimE, very economic. He sees the opener of ArT, and he is, unflinching, undisturbed, as ArT is going for what looks to be a proxy Stargate. So, this proxy location is prime for a Stargate. If it is a Stargate, it's not all in. This is designed to get economic damage. Basically, ArT knows that he's going to be behind economically. He's going to have a later expansion. So he has to make up for that by dealing some worker kills, by killing some probes. And there it is. There's the Stargate. So proxy Stargate out of ArT. And he should be expanding behind this. He should be looking for that natural. Meanwhile, ArT is coming with a probe scout. He doesn't know the timing of this Nexus. He doesn't know how early or late it is, and ShoWTimE follows it up with a Stargate of his own. Oh boy. As we get into this PvP, I know I just went straight into the matches themselves, or the game itself, but ShoWTimE is coming in as one of the best VODs in Europe. He is top 2 alongside MaxFax. He's a heavy favorite to go far and to have a deep run in this tournament. ArT, meanwhile, has been around for a while, a couple of years, yes, but he did take a bit of a break from the game. He recently came back at the start of the year, maybe the end of last year, and has been looking damn good, but he gets scouted. ShoWTimE, he comes in with the probe, he confirms the Stargate. He is now aware of what's going on. With this, he can go for a Phoenix, though it is. Phoenix is being chronoed as we speak. Shield battery is on the way. Stalkers are repositioning. ShoWTimE, he's getting ready for that Oracle. Meanwhile, we have Adepts here on the low ground, but we have a full wall off. ShoWTimE is ready for everything. He has a wall off at the natural. Stalkers in position in the main base. A shield battery, it's not done yet. It's a couple seconds too late, and ArT is going to get a couple of workers, but only 2 before being completely shut down. Up! Can it escape? Oh my god. Just barely the Oracle will escape here to the main base, but 2 worker kills is not worth the proxy. And now ArT is getting into his expansion. Remember, the goal here, the reasoning for this Oracle was to get economic damage done, was to allow for this later expansion, but it wasn't enough damage, and now ShoWTimE will enjoy this economic lead and will settle in with some map control as well. His Phoenixes, they aren't just designed to shut down the Oracle, they can also kill workers themselves. So they head towards the main base, but ArT is in position. Is here to zone away these Phoenixes. Despite that, 2 workers go down. They go for the Oracle as well. They commit, they take it down. And both Phoenixes will survive. At the same time, the Adept once again actually does shade into the natural, but it's only a single Adept. It shouldn't really threaten ShoWTimE too much here as it commits, and it gets shut down. Again, a solid defense out of ShoWTimE. There's a reason why they call him the Wall Demauer, if you will. Oh. And behind this, he's getting into 2 more gateways. So a 3-gate setup into a Twilight Council into Blink. Very standard follow-up here from ShoWTimE. Nothing too out of the norm. Now, ArT is getting into a slightly faster Twilight Council, into a slightly faster Blink. So he can maybe make use of that, potentially, but again, ArT, he's behind in other aspects here. In that worker count, in the economy. boy, here we go. And there is going to be a moment here. There's going to be a bit of a power spike for ShoWTimE. At the moment, he has more workers, yes. But that's not really being showcased yet until the rest of the production kicks in. Then we can see some warp-ins. He already has an economic lead. He's going to extend it here with a faster third. Third base is thrown down on location. ArT is committing, though. He is going for an all-in. I mean, I say all-in. There's a lot of pressure on ArT to get damage done. He's warping into the center of the map. He's pushing on forward towards that third. Can he break it? Can he force a cancel? Does blink on forward, and he will just barely take down one of those Phoenixes. ShoWTimE fighting without a shield battery. Taking a lot of losses. A lot of Stalkers do end up going down here as ArT rotates towards that third base. But with another defensive warp in, ShoWTimE, he should be able to force this back. Yeah, he has more than enough. He takes down another Stalker in the retreat, and ShoWTimE will hold on to his third. The goal here was for ArT to push forward, to take control of this location, and ideally cancel the third base or trade well against the army. He did trade, but not good enough. So ArT, he's still one step behind, working towards a later third base. Forge is on the way for +1. Blink is done for both players. And ShoWTimE able to just settle into the mid-game. And the third base is up and running. He did end up losing a lot of those Phoenixes, but now he's feeling confident enough to move out. Shuts down a pylon. ArT is aware of the army movement here of ShoWTimE. He's going to rotate around instead. ShoWTimE making his way in between the bases, though, and there's nothing here to defend. Uh-oh. ArT is out of position. You could argue both players are out of position, and here we go. He goes straight for the natural, forces a recall. ArT races back home, but that won't save these workers. 2 workers go down, a shield battery, a pylon, and even more workers as well. In the end, ShoWTimE was able to outposition his opponent, barely loses anything. It's 4 more probes. And the pressure is still on ArT. There was potential for maybe like a pseudo base trade sort of thing, but you know, ArT, he did race back home first. Now, when it comes to PvP, there are ways to come back. You know, it's not all dire here for ArT. He does have a chance in a mirror matchup. It is very difficult, but we have tools like, you know, even regular adepts. Adepts shading into a mineral line, getting economic damage done. DTs, disruptors, purification novas, or even just straight up outpositioning your opponent, as we just saw ShoWTimE do. And we'll see if ArT can do the same. He's trying to distract the army here towards the north. His main army pushes in towards the south, but there's an observer in position. ShoWTimE sees it. He repositions. He's ready. And there it is. We were talking about how do you come back from this position, Dark Shrine, when behind anytime Dark Shrine, and that is thrown down here for ArT. It is a very late Dark Shrine though, so we have plenty of observers. Looking at the units tab here, we have 1 observer with the main army of ShoWTimE, but detection nonetheless. Cannons are on the way. Now, with enough DTs, you can power through a cannon and kill workers anyway, or we can try to bypass the cannons instead and maybe go into the main. There are different angles of attack that we can go for. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is finally shutting down this Stargate. We're getting a 4th base for both players. And as ArT works towards a Dark Shrine, we have ShoWTimE working towards a Templar Archives. The yin and yang here in PvP. The High Templar, as opposed to the Dark Templar, are going to be on the way for ShoWTimE. This will be for Archons to really round out his army, to deal with the charge lots of his opponent. So ShoWTimE is just, taking up even further. We have Immortals being incorporated, soon Archons as well. ArT, he doubles down. He's going for a Blink for his DTs, which makes a lot of sense. Again, he knows that he is behind in this game, so we may as well invest. Double down here. All of our eggs in this one basket, the invisible basket of the DTs. And we'll see if he can pull it off. But before we can really harass with Dark Templar, we're moving out. ShoWTimE is pushing through the northern side of the map with a pretty hefty army. It's a lot of Stalkers, Immortals, Archons. It's pretty insane, and ArT, he could try to collapse on this from both angles, from both sides. Oh, he does blink over the wall, over the army. Does have a lot of Zealots, but here come the Archons. Zoning the Zealot army away as he pushes into the natural. And ArT, he just can't engage. He's just being cut off here from his natural base. The Stalkers are pushing through. Do you have another warp into of Zealots coming in? But the positioning here, the movement from ShoWTimE is just so good. ArT just cannot engage. DTs are coming in. They are going to pose a big threat, but we have an observer for ShoWTimE. He has detection. He cleans up the DTs. Dark Templar do go down, and ShoWTimE is busting into the natural base. ArT, he pushes his way through, but it's not going to be enough. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE will take game number 1. GG, well played. A really meticulous control there from ShoWTimE towards the end. I love that, again, he brought his Archons forward, so the Zealot army from ArT that was at his third base could not engage. He could not actually come in and help protect his natural. He could not push forward. He was just being zoned time and time again. And yeah, a really solid game 1 there from ShoWTimE. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE taking that first game, but it's a best of 3. It is a best of 3, and we have the opportunity to come back here in game number 2. Game 1 was really weird as well, like winding it all back against side Delta because of that ramp, because it allows you to go for an economic opener. ShoWTimE, he took an economic lead really early on, and he caught wind of the proxy Stargate as well. So it was just a really rough start for ArT. He was behind from the beginning, from the openers, essentially. From the openers, he was falling a bit behind. There was a lot of pressure on ArT to get damage done with that Oracle, and it didn't do any damage. That's the problem. And yeah, from that moment, ShoWTimE, he got a lead, and he held on to it. Did hold on to it in the end. And with that, ShoWTimE, he needs one more win here to close out the series. To take down ArT. Meanwhile, ArT has to fight back here and now to tie it up and go to the ace match. Now, it is a PvP, and I want to believe that our Polish Protoss player can bring it back. As we are getting back into this. So we are getting back into this, just making sure that everything is as it should be. And there we go. We're loading into our next game. Into game number 2. And hopefully everything is okay. And game 2 is going to be on Hecate. Laminos. One of the more pretty maps in the map pool. Does give me a lot of aesthetic romanticide vibes. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hecate. We have the German Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Team Big. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player from the land of Poland, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is ArT. Oh boy, and this time, as I mentioned before, the ramps coming into the natural in this map pool, they're more of a rarity, and Side Delta is one of the few maps that does allow for that. Here on Hecate, there is no ramp, so both players should be going for 2 gate openers. 2 gate openers on the high ground, so as a result, ShoWTimE won't have a crazy economic lead from the start of the game. That won't be possible here for our red Protoss, and ArT has a lot less pressure on him to suddenly do damage and catch up. As ShoWTimE is coming in for a probe scout, ArT is going to be sending out a probe here towards the left-hand side. It looks like he wants to throw down a fake proxy pylon. Okay. I do appreciate this. I do appreciate how ArT is playing out this series. Basically, game 1, he committed to a real proxy. So game 2, we should be committing to a fake proxy. If that makes any sense. As for now, we have our 2 gates being set up. And we should be seeing our pylons thrown down momentarily. Oh, never mind. Okay, the second pylon is thrown down in the main base. Likewise for ShoWTimE. So everything is on the up and up. The probe is out here, yes, but we... Oh, let's go! Okay! We're crazy. So, a couple of things. ArT throws down a very early third pylon very early, and this is hidden because there shouldn't be a third pylon yet. The first two have already been revealed here, so ShoWTimE, he sees everything. Everything looks normal. This is successfully hidden, and this is looking like potentially a proxy Twilight Council? Question mark? Yep, proxy Twilight Council DTs. This should be proxy Twilight Council into a Dark Shrine. Really nicely hidden here from ArT, because again, the timing for a third pylon is now. And ShoWTimE is yet to figure that out, because the Adepts should zone away this probe before ShoWTimE can scout. On one base, ShoWTimE is still going for a Stargate first, though. So he's not going for a faster Nexus. With this Stargate opener, he should go into Oracles, which will give him access to detection. So Oracles, they have multiple uses here in the early game. Meanwhile, Adepts are going to be shading across the map. There is that Dark Shrine on the way. As you mentioned, there's no reason to proxy a Twilight Council unless you're going into DTs as well. Very bold move. Again, unfortunately for ArT, we do have access to an Oracle, and we should be getting an Oracle. Yeah, there it is. It is on the way. Now, to be fair, it may end up spending its energy across the map to harass and to kill workers. That like, there's a possibility that that could occur. So ShoWTimE, we have to keep an eye on this Oracle to see how it's used and where it's used. ShoWTimE is just continuing to shade here towards the main base. Good denials from these pylons. ShoWTimE still not fully aware of what exactly is going on. ArT, he's trying to hunt down those Adepts, but he misses them. He does miss the Adepts as he's moving out across the map. And the Oracle, likewise. There's a second Oracle coming out as well. ShoWTimE staying on one base. Oh, and this is going to be a rough moment here for ArT. Oracle comes in, gets a probe. Second Oracle's on the way. We do see ArT expanding. We do have two DTs morphing into the natural. The second Oracle moves out. It is not at home to defend, but we do have a full wall. It's going to take a while here for the DTs to actually break in. Oh, as the Adepts do threaten a shade. Threaten to shade into the main base. The Oracles, they do make their way into the main base of ArT, and ArT only has two Stalkers. Only two Stalkers. Probes are falling left and right. 6 workers go down. And now it should be go time, but again, there's still a full wall. We have yet to really reveal our hand. Yeah, the Oracles, they make their way back home. They're going to be shutting down these Adepts. Spending a lot of their energy. And here we go. Now the DT tries to waddle in. I love that he's checking, but there is a full wall of it. Now there is detection. Observer comes out. Robo is done. DTs get shut down. And this is what we were working towards. We were building up towards these DTs, and they unfortunately did no damage. Robo is done. Detection is out. We find the second DT. And ShoWTimE, he finds himself with another economic lead. Now, his expansion is later, so at least ArT has a faster expansion. He has faster blink that's on the way as well. He needs to chrono out as many workers as he can. And it's not over, because ShoWTimE, after the defense, he's moving out. He's going for the sentry. And he will get the sentry in the end. Good pick off. The Oracles come in. They get another worker. ShoWTimE, he shades into that main base. 2 Adepts do one-shot probes. They take down another 2, another 3. They take down 4. And they're going to get a 5th. Well, 7 in total, I guess, because of the Oracles. Ay, ay, ay. 7 probes go down. ArT, he was already behind. He couldn't afford these losses. And ShoWTimE is just securing himself. Okay, so one thing. ArT does have Blink. He has Blink. He has a slightly higher Stalker count. He can try to outmaneuver and outposition ShoWTimE. This is true. Can try to bypass the army, maybe go into the main. But ShoWTimE, look at this defense. He has a shield battery in the main as well. So in case he has to rotate around, he'll be there. We'll have that shield battery to support. We shade into the main base. We blink into the main as well. Shield battery is going to be focused down, but it does tank a lot of hits. At the same time, oracles make their way across the map as well. One oracle will fall. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE does maintain control of his main base, forcing ArT out of the main. Did get a shield battery. Oof. Did get a shield battery in the end, and now he's working towards the third base. Because why not? Why not at this point? Third base is thrown down. ShoWTimE, he has enough of an army to hold on to this position here as well. And ArT has to back off. Behind this, he's working towards charge, robo. Charge on the way. I love that this proxy location is still hidden. Still hasn't been found and hasn't been dealt with. It's always risky to invest in your upgrades out here, but they should finish. As ShoWTimE, now that he's settled on 2 bases, now that he has a third on the way, he should soon be moving out to this at War Prism. Once the War Prism arrives, we can reinforce on the front lines with the main army. That's going to be the first sign of the push here from ShoWTimE. Back at home, what does ArT have to work with? He's got a robo now. He's working on his first observer. Proxy location has been scouted. But no immortals. No immortals. No shield battery on the high ground. Not yet. And ShoWTimE, he has arrived. He is looking to deny this third. Defensive DT gets warped in, but we have detection. Nexus is going to go down. We push on forward. Charge kicks in. She's going to do a great job tanking shots. But it's not going to be enough. As the Immortals, they break through the defensive line of Zealots. And GG is going to get called, and ShoWTimE will take the series 2-0. Showing